Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, welcome to another Android Weekly / Android Q&A. We are live and we will be answering questions today as always. If you have a question during the week, email me or right down below at asktheandroidguy@gmail.com. And if you have a live question, we will get to the live questions at the end of the episode, just like we always do to answer your questions live. Now, first off, we're going to kick off with the news, and the biggest news right now is definitely something that just leaked about 2-3 hours ago, and that is, again, another photo of the S5. So, this is a picture that was basically showing off the new gear. However, we see this phone that we've never seen before in the background. And this is strongly believed to be the Galaxy S5. We have it in white, black, and gold. And up close we can see that the camera looks even bigger than before, so it is strong belief that yes, it will be like a 16 or maybe even the 20 megapixel camera. We'll see tomorrow exactly what it is. But also we have this new flash in the back. So you have that like twin flash thing that we saw in the leaked images of the Amazon one. If you haven't seen that video, make sure to check it out. But that is the first thing. And if you thought 3 colors was enough, well, guess what? There are 4. That's right. There we have a black, a white, a gold, and a blue. This is kind of like a off blue. It kind of even looks turquoise blue to me. And then we have another surprise here. We have different colors of the watch wristband. One in like orange and silver. A gold and black one, which I think this one will be popular with girls. Nice gold and black. I would even like a gold and black one without the hearts, of course. And even silver and off gray, it looks like. But this is really interesting. Of course, we're seeing these photos. Now, one thing is important to note, because one thing that's definitely been speculated is, oh, well, this does not look like metal. So is it going to be plastic again? What are we getting? Well, I would like to point out that one thing is important is that this is the S5, but according to Amazon, if that is true, we're supposed to be getting an S5 and an S5 Prime. So what if this is, again, a plastic version and then we're going to get a metal version? We'll have to wait to see till tomorrow, but that is my take on it, at least. So hopefully you like that take. And I just want to add thank you very much to all of you guys that have supported these breaking news Android videos. The one that I put up last night at midnight got over 5,000 views in less than 24 hours, which is really good for just a video that took me like maybe 10 minutes to do. So I'm really thankful for that. So thank you guys for supporting me on those. And now let's get to the article so we can get to those questions at the end. Again, if you have a question, leave it in the comment section down below and I will answer it. If you are watching this during the week, email me at asktheandroidguy@gmail.com and make sure the subject line is question. All right, let's get to the news that happened this week. And first off, I wanted to say that everything that's been going on at MWC, I'm going to do a separate video from. Or for, rather. So there will be separate videos for everything that's happening at MWC, because about 4 manufacturers announced certain things at MWC right now, and I want to get to those, but I do not want to get to them during this segment, so we'll do a separate video for each of those, kind of like the breaking news ones we've been doing. Alright, so the first thing is that HTC has their next flagship date. That's right, March 25th will be the announcement for the HTC One 2014 edition is what it sounds like it's going to be, which I think is a silly thing. I didn't like when Samsung did that either. It just doesn't sound right. You know, call it something else. Call it like the One 2, you know, call it the HTC 2, whatever you're going to call it, the One Squared, whatever you want to call it, well, One Plus, but I just don't like that, you know, the 2014 edition kind of thing. I've just never been a fan of it. Although I will say, by the way, that so far it looks like I will be right about 2 device launches. If you haven't watched my video on, I predicted when every single device would be launched this year. And so far the S5 does look like it's going to come out in March because of the announcement date. And the HTC does look like it's going to come out in April because of the announcement date. So far it looks like I'm 2 for 2. And I did predict when the G3 would come out, the iPhone, as well as the Nokia device. So make sure to stay tuned to see if I was right on all those. And I predicted when the next Nexus would come out, which we'll get to in a second. The HTC March 25th, though, it will be live. It looks like they're going to have two simultaneous launch events, one in New York and one at London. So it should be exciting. I'm definitely interested to see it, although we have pretty much seen pictures of it. So actually, I'll skip ahead to that. So the pictures we've seen of it, let me show you real quick. This is the image that we've seen of the HTC One. So it's a bit more curved-like. You have still the front speakers on the front, and this is what has gotten a lot of people upset, the fact that they still have an HTC symbol. You don't need HTC on the front. You have a big HTC symbol on the back. You don't need it on the front, too. It's wasted. That could have been used for maybe 0.2 more inches of the screen, and it really was just a waste of space. You could have narrowed it down, and it is seen by a waste by a lot of people right now, if this is indeed true. As well as we have a second camera here, which we're not sure of what it's for. It could be because of this new Google project, which we'll talk about in a second, but it's really kind of curious to see why they decided to go with a second camera. Could be because of light. There's been a lot of rumors on it, but all I know is that it better be more than the 4 ultra pixels. Even with the better lighting, it just wasn't sharp. Next thing, of course, is HTC announced a huge benefit for their consumers, and that is the fact that they have announced HTC Advantage. Now, HTC Advantage has a couple of benefits. The first, biggest, and most important one is that HTC will cover your broken screen within 6 months of the purchase. So that's the HTC One, HTC One Mini, Max, and any future HTC devices. That's really very competitive and very remarkable that a manufacturer is actually sticking to this. Now, will this attract more customers? I'm not sure. I don't know if I think they first have to attract customers to get the product, and then this will keep them there. So I think this will make HTC fans stay with the company. However, I don't know if this will attract new fans. Let me know what you think. Do you think this will attract new HTC fans? I personally don't think it will attract new fans, but I think it will maintain their current fans. Instead of leaving to, like, say, the G3 or an S5 or a Nexus, they're going to stay with the HTC for that reason. They are now committing updates for up to 2 years after their device releases. So that's, again, a really good part, that if they do that, that's really good. I mean, for 2 years. They're also giving you 25 gigs of additional Google storage. It's up to 50, but I believe the 50 is only with the Google Play edition. Otherwise, you only get 25 gigs, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, that's the main thing. Hold on one second. Sorry, I always have to have my tea to talk through all this. And accidents do happen. HTC will essentially back up mainly your contacts, it seems like, onto their own, like, cloud storage space. Next bit of news: Google I/O. Google I/O will be in June 25th and 26th in San Francisco. I want to go. I'm going to try to make it this year, guys. I am, of course, the Android guy. I am such an Android fan, and I've never been to this event. Now, it is more for developers, so that's why, you know, when I was only at the point where I had to pay for it, I definitely couldn't justify it, because it was like, I think, $1,500 or something like that last year, or $1,000, or maybe $800 or something like that. But I forgot how much it was, but it was just a lot of money for, you know, going to an event. However, this year, hopefully I can be part of the press section, so that I can go in there, as I now have used my press and, you know, more found viewers to be able to go in. So that's really cool, and I am definitely excited about that. So yes, hopefully I'll go, and the rumor is that at Google I/O we will see the Nexus 8, and we will see an Android 4.5. Now, I'm really curious to see what 4.5 is, because, you know, we knew about Keyline Pi a long time ago before it came out. You know, there was pictures of it and all that kind of stuff. We don't know what L is. We do not know what L is yet. So I'm really curious on what that'll be, and it's something we'll definitely have to see what L will be. If you are joining us, make sure you ask your questions in the comment section down below. And again, if you have a question now, email me at asktheandroidguy@gmail.com, and I will answer it next week if you're not watching live. Now, there was a huge thing this week with T-Mobile and BlackBerry. So T-Mobile sent out a letter like, hey, BlackBerry users, switch to an iPhone 5S, which, why wouldn't you have them switch to, Knox device from Samsung? It's more secure. I think that would be better. But I digress. So here's the thing. They were trying to get people that it was a huge backlash. And, of course, John, their CEO, is just hilarious. So he talked to, basically he said, okay, we'll do something to help you guys out. So essentially now the deal that T-Mobile is giving you is for $250, if you trade in your BlackBerry, you will get $200 if you switch to another manufacturer. So if you switch to iPhone, LG, HTC, Samsung, whatever, you will get $200 towards that trade-in. However, if you instead switch to a new BlackBerry, you will get an additional $50. So if you switch over to the Q10 or Z10, you will get $250 towards your trade-in. Personally, I don't know. So yes, so that is what they're offering to their customers right now. And of course, he took a little jab at the CEO, saying that I tried to contact him, but he wasn't on Twitter. Maybe he's on MySpace. Low blow, low blow. Big news in the mobile industry this week was that, Facebook bought out WhatsApp for $16 billion. Personally, so if you don't know why they bought WhatsApp, the reason why they bought WhatsApp was because this allows Facebook is making money off their advertising. That's their main source of income right now. They're one of the main competitors to Google in the web advertising forum. And so what's happening right now is now WhatsApp is in third world countries and even second world countries that Facebook is not really a part of, that people aren't on Facebook. So because of this, this is the main reason why they're this is one of the main reasons why they purchased this and why Facebook thinks it's so much worth so much money. But I just don't know. I just still think they overpaid for it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I still think they overpaid for it. I don't think that it's worth that much. I think what Google was offering at like $10 billion was fair, but for $16 billion, I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't use WhatsApp. Who knows? We'll see what happens. So, and Google has a new project called Project Tango. Essentially, what this does is it's kind of like a portable Connect from Microsoft in terms of technology. It maps out everything in front of you. And where I see this going is kind of like what Google did with the 360 view. I can't think of what it's called right now. But when you had your camera and you could do like your own street view in a sense, Project Tango seems to like fill that gap. And now you could have like a 3D view. I mean, if you think about this, if Google has something like this on their cars, on their Google cars, then instead of just street view, we're going to get like a 3D view. Like we're going to actually have depth, which is amazing. That we will not only get like a street view now, we will get a 3D street view. So I'm definitely curious to see how that'll be. Thank you for some of the comments. Keep commenting down below if you want me to answer your questions, and I will answer them after I get through the news and the people that questioned me during the week. And let's get through this kind of quickly. Verizon has a new prepaid service for 3G service phones. It started at $45. Well, really $50. It starts at $50, and then from there you can add up to $20 more to get 3 gigs. So essentially, for $70, you can get a 3G phone for 3 gigs on Verizon's network, which is, of course, very good, and shows that they're really trying to compete with all the other carriers now when it comes to prepaid. The biggest phone, of course, you would want to get for this is the Moto G. It's a 3G phone that's very well worth it. Quad-core processor, 1.2 gigahertz, 5-megapixel camera, and as I answered last week, it's probably the best bang for your buck if you're going for a low entry-level phone. All right, and in the final news we have this week, we have more news on the global market share. So if you see right here, essentially Android has gone up in most of the areas except for Great Britain, but in China, USA, Germany, France, and not in Great Britain, But in most of the areas, Android has gone up. So in the U.S., it is now 54% compared to Apple, now going down more than 7%, so 38%. So year over year, Apple's on a downtrend here, and even in China, although they just expanded there, they're going downtrend. Whereas Android is now 80% of China, which is just insane. 75% of Germany, 55% of Great Britain, and important to note, Windows saw a huge boom, especially in Great Britain. But it saw a modest boom in the U.S. as well, although it downgraded in China. All right, so now that's all for the news this week. Again, I will answer all MWC news in a separate video other than this one. So let's answer the questions, and if you have other questions besides these, please ask them in the Q&A section, or sorry, in the comment section, and I will get to them. So far, I just see one question. If you have questions, feel free to ask. And this is the time to ask them, guys. I will answer whatever questions you have. All right. Matthew Capron, I hope I pronounced that correctly, asks, do you find yourself using the S Pen on the Note 3 a lot? I'm asking because I'm trying to decide between the S5 and the Note 3. The S Pen does look interesting, though. So, hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Do I use the S Pen? Yes, I do, actually. I do use it more in my tablets than I do in my phone. So I've had Note tablets and I've had the Note 3. I do use it more for my tablets. On my tablets, I pretty much use it almost every day. On my phone, however, I would say I use it maybe 2 to 3 times per week. And sometimes it's just like, say, a great example is actually just for some games. Some games like the Simpsons Tap Out game, like a mindless game like that, or Luxor game, those kind of like just simple, very simple, simplistic games. I like using the pen better, especially when it's further away. It gives me a much better kind of feedback, and just than using your finger with more pinpoint accuracy. So I use it mainly for that. I do use it when I'm around certain friends that are still in school and they're taking math. I do the math equation a lot, and that always like freaks them out. They're like, "Oh my God, this phone can answer all my math questions. That's insane." Other than that, I do use it when like not as often, but I do like it when I do need to add like a new telephone number or an email address and I'm on the phone. I can just write it and then call it immediately because I wrote it down. So I do like that feature, but that's pretty much what I use it for. I would say more so if you like the bigger screen size of the Note, that's what should, and the longer battery life, because I believe the Note 3 still will have a longer battery life compared to the S5 when we find out tomorrow. If you like the smaller screen size, easier one-handed ability of the S series, then go with that one. I really just say it's more to what size and preference you like that should determine it. All right, Roberto Tito Rodriguez asks, can I unlock my Sprint Note 3 for any carrier? Please answer. I think I got suckered. Okay, so you cannot do it for any carrier. I will dampen your dreams right there and there. You cannot do it for any carrier. That's definitely not true. So here's the thing. There is CDMA and there's GSM. Now, there are certain phones that can cross between them. But for the most part, especially in the U.S., because carriers like to lock you down, you can't really just kind of like put your phone on another one. The easier is GSM. GSM is more easily put on different carriers. So if you have an AT&T phone or a T-Mobile phone, if you have an AT&T phone, you can go to T-Mobile with that phone, or you can go to Metro with that phone, or you can go to Simple Mobile, or I think it's called, or something like that. Those are all GSM-based. CDMA-based is more rare, and you can't really bring it to any carrier for the most part. Now, Sprint is particularly, before you could do Sprint on Metro, but Metro has now switched to GSM instead of CDMA, so you cannot bring it to there anymore. So you can't bring it to any carrier. However, I believe that like there are so many of those little ones like Simple Mobile and all these little carriers that you can take it to. But the main important thing you have to know is if you take it to one of these carriers that are like, oh, $50 a month for 4G and all this kind of stuff and all that, Most of them, first of all, you're not getting the full network. Second of all, you're definitely not ever guaranteed multimedia messages. Multimedia messages is part of the device and the phone, and you usually cannot use both at the same time. So just letting you know that you cannot do that at the same time. So just make sure you know that that cannot be done. All right, MD3631 asks, this is a huge it's a bigger paragraph. Essentially, he has a generic tablet, and when he puts it into his device, it's a 16 gig memory card, 4 gigs on board, and he's like, oh my god, I need more storage, but his SD card is saying that he doesn't have enough storage. When he puts the SD card into his computer, he's saying it's 13 gigs free. So this is simply what I would do. It does look like it's reading your SD card, but it looks like it's not reading. It looks like doesn't have the full amount of storage. So what you should do is go into settings, go into storage, and when you have the SD card, format it. Actually, MD3631, you are actually the one who also asked a comment in the question section down below. So I will answer that now. Actually, is there any way to move APKs to an external SD card without rooting? So I want to clear this too. I answered this question last week as well. You have to have Android 4.2 or newer, so 4.2 and 4.3, to move apps to the SD card. If you don't have that, and say if you have Android 4.0 or 4.1, they took that feature away in those versions of Android. The reason why is because Android kept crashing a lot because apps were on SD cards. So Google originally were like, that's it, we're tired of this, we're not going to let our OS be crashed that much, so we're getting rid of this. The problem is that had a huge backlash. Consumers were very upset about this, and so they didn't like it. So because of that reason, they brought it back on Android 4.2. If it's really like a generic brand like that, I doubt it will update in order for you to have apps from SD card. So hopefully that answers all the possibility of your question. If you have other questions, feel free to ask, and I will answer. Again, if you're just joining us, ask any questions in the comment section down below. If you are watching this at a later time, email me at askandroidguy@gmail.com, and I will answer your questions next week. All right, Ron Baker 413 asks, Ron, we tried to help you out last week, and I guess one thing helped, but the other thing didn't. So essentially, what we went through last week, you have a tablet, an AT&T version, Samsung 10.1 Tab 2 edition, and essentially, you cannot save a file save as is onto your storage. So here's the thing. I would just drag and drop it. It seems like when you plug in your tablet to the USB port, your computer recognizes it as removable storage. But once you're trying to save it as, like you're trying to type up your Microsoft document and then save as to your tablet, don't do it that way because I don't think Word can do it that way. So what I would do is save your file and then drag and drop it into the removable storage. That should work, but I don't think Microsoft will get the fact that you can do that. So let me know what you think about that. Again, I see you guys asking more questions. Make sure to keep asking the questions in the comments section, and I will get to them. I have 2 more questions now, and then I will get to the live questions you guys are asking. So Richard J. Novigrad, I hope I pronounced that correctly, asked, for the Samsung Note 3, how or where did you get the date, time, weather? So he's asking about the widget. On the widget, that's actually my very favorite widget. For all you guys that haven't seen it, let me just... So he's asking about the widgets right here. These widgets are, hopefully you can see them. Okay. These widgets are HD widgets. It's by far the best widget out there. I recommend it. Everyone who has an Android device should have HD widgets. It's my favorite app for widgets. It's by far the best. It's you can personalize it to yourself very easily, and it's just so functional. I love the fact that just to give you an idea of this widget, because it's my favorite app. I always say you should have this one. Can't really see it, but basically when you hit the time, it goes right to the alarm. Goes right to the alarm. When you hit the calendar, or sorry, the date, it goes right to the calendar app. And then when you hit the weather, it goes right to your weather. So little things like that are just so really nice that it has that ability, and I love it. It's by far, anytime anyone asks me what app should I have on my phone, that is a must-have app. If you want to know more must-have apps, check out my must-have apps for 2013 while I build up my must-have apps for 2014. Too early to see which apps you should have for your device. All right. So I had a lot, and I mean a lot, of Samsung Knox questions. So I'm going to try to go through this rapid fire, and hopefully I can get to most of them. There are a lot, so hopefully I will get to as many as I can. And I'm just trying to get them all ready. Okay. Let's get through these. Okay, so Ronnie Lou asked that on her business side, she moved. On the Knox side, you always have the option to move your file from Knox to your personal side and vice versa. But she's saying when she moved it from the Knox side to the personal side, she can't find it. It should be in the same side that you were on. So if you were in the downloads folder and you transferred it over to your personal side, it should be in the downloads folder in your personal side. So it should go from whatever side to whatever side, not differently. So that's what it should do. No 3. Oh, so this is a big one. William D-Son, I'm guessing you have the same problem that I do. So Samsung, for Verizon, on the Note 3, you do not have Knox. This confused the hell out of me, and you got it on October 3rd, so I think you might have it for Verizon. You cannot get Knox on the Verizon version of the Galaxy Note 3. It's the only carrier, as far as I know, that doesn't have it. You said you went to the device administrator, and it's there, but all I can do is check it. So you might actually have the AT&T version. The AT&T version, if you do the device manager, you should be able to see it right there. And actually, yeah, now that I'm seeing that, so Verizon does not. You cannot do it anything at all. For AT&T, once you click the device administrator, if you go into device administrator on your settings under security, then go to device administrator, you should then be able to check it off and use Knox. However, if you're not, that's weird. I would check the Samsung App Store to see if it's there. But I thought you were like me, and unfortunately Verizon, you just can't do anything about it. We will get, so questions on Knox. Will we get our email calendar alerts notification from Knox when we are using our personal side? Yes, so when you're using your personal side, a Knox icon pops up on your notification and says you have an email, click to tap to open it. So then you go to your business side, and vice versa for your calendar and everything else. So yeah, it's really great. I love Knox. I love Knox. As a business person, I use it on my tablet all the time now. Will you get a better battery life when compared to a full encryption? Battery life doesn't change, really. I haven't had any issues with battery life. And then the final Knox question, Dropbox for Samsung isn't on the Knox store. It is now. So it wasn't originally on the Knox store, now it is. So Dropbox is now able to get on the Knox store. If you're wondering why certain apps weren't on there, by the way, at first, like Gmail and all those cannot be on there. You have to have a certain encryption level for Samsung to put you in the Knox store. If you don't have that encryption level, if you're deemed as, that it could be hackable, or the encryption level isn't as good for your app, then guess what? You can't be on Knox. That's just how Samsung does it. And what is Knox really used for? Knox is really used for, so for me, I use it very much so because of the fact that I like to not need a password for my phone. Right now on my Verizon, I have to enter in a password because of my job, and it annoys me so much. So I really would love to have Knox on my phone, so that when I go into my computer, like my tablet, I can just swipe to unlock my tablet. I cannot do this with my phone, simply for the reason that I do not have Knox on it. So that's one of the biggest things. It's just to do that, as well as if you are a business person and you get fired or quit a job, guess what? They can wipe out your phone. They are actually required to, in certain companies, wipe out your phone because you have information that is critical to them. So for that reason, they can wipe out your phone. That is why Knox is so great, because of the fact that you have this built-in on there, and now you can stop them from seeing your phone. Or sorry, when they wipe it out, they just wipe out the Knox side. They don't wipe out your entire personal side. So that's why it's so important. All right, if you're just joining us, now is the time to ask all of your questions in the comment section. Ask every question you can think of, and I will answer it. So now we will go to the live questions. And so I answered the first one already, and now BJ. Sorry, hold on one second. Again, this is a long episode, and it's just me talking. Do you think that the Galaxy S5 Prime is going to come with the Gear 2 Neo? No. I expect. All right. Now, obviously, this is all speculation. We have no idea. I expect the Galaxy S5 Prime to be the high end. I expect the Galaxy S5 to be the mid-range. So, again, this is pure speculation. I want to emphasize that. I really have no idea. We'll find out tomorrow. But I believe the S5 will be $199 on contract, and then the S5 Prime may be like either $299, or it could even be yeah, I would say $299. I would say the S5 Prime could be like $299 with the 32 gig version, whereas the S5 could be a 16 gig version and it's the normal one. So that's how I believe they're going to do it. I believe that you're going to have a Prime and then you're going to have the S5. So I believe the S5 will be, again, they're one that's going to sell a lot and all that kind of stuff. But I believe the S5 Prime is going to be their higher end, kind of like their Note series is. It starts at $299. You know, it's $100 more compared to the S series always. I believe the S5 Prime is going to be like the Note version in a smaller compact form. So I believe the Prime is where we're going to get, you know, the non-plastic. We'll get like a metal or maybe just a leather-like backing again. But I believe that one's going to be the one that's kind of like, wow. So I believe, if anything, no, the Prime will be bundled more so with the Gear 2, and the S5 would be bundled with the Gear 2 Neo. Again, this is purely speculation. Who knows what will happen? We'll find out. Well, I'll find out tomorrow, and I will be doing, just letting you guys know, for the Samsung event that is tomorrow at 11 a.m., I will be doing a reaction video at 12. So at 11 a.m. in my time, it's going to be live. I'm going to be doing a reaction one at 12 p.m. or 11:45, whenever it ends. I'm going to be doing a reaction video, and then later on, I will be doing an everything you need to know video, hitting all the main points that you need to know about the S5 and S5 Prime, Gear 2 Neo, everything, all that stuff. So I will let you guys know about that. And so for the next question, again, if you have a question, leave it in the comment section down below, and I'm going to answer them as best I can. I do have 4.2.2. Turns out the SD card, my tablet, was moving things to another. Wait, sorry. It turns out the SD card, my tablet was moving things to, was another internal storage. That's weird. I mean, it generally does separate them, so I just want to show you what it should look like. It should say right here total space, or sorry, I don't know if you can see. Let me see. Total space right here, and that's your internal storage, and then it should have an SD card section, and that's what I was saying, to format it if need be, but that's kind of, as you can see, I have a lot of storage. I have 232 gigs, and I have about 10 gigs left. So out of 64 gigs, I have about 10 gigs left. Shows you I'm a power user, right? So yeah, that's yeah. Okay. So you read about that in the forums. Hopefully, is it working now then? If it's not working now, try to tell me something else. Anyone else have any questions they would like to ask? We're at about 35 minutes. Generally, this goes to about 40 minutes, 45, but I will end it early if no one has any questions. So if you guys don't have any questions, once again, I'd like to, while I see if there's any more questions, I would like to thank you guys again just for all the support on those breaking news videos. They just got really popular real quick. Please keep sharing them. I mean, if those really are that good that you guys really like them, then you know what, I'm going to keep doing those. And it seems like you guys really liked them. So, again, thank you guys for the support. It really has helped me for these couple days. Also, again, I will be doing, actually, I'm also going to be doing the Sony announcement is tonight, and so is the Nokia announcement. So I will be doing kind of a recap of all that tonight. So yeah, we'll be doing a recap of all that tonight. And then also for the Samsung event tomorrow, I will be doing a recap that after that. And there was a couple of other manufacturers: Lenovo, Huawei, Alcatel, and one more company I can't think of. LG all did some announcements today, so I will recap everything for MWC that has happened so far today. Mine has the internal storage, SD card, and one more SD card at the bottom. Interesting. That is definitely by the manufacturer's setting. Sorry, I'm just reading the conversation of MD3631. You saying you have an internal storage, an SD card, and another one. You said read up on more. All right, so hopefully that helps you. I'm glad I could help. And if you guys have any other questions, send me an email at asktheandroidguy@gmail.com. Make sure the subject line is question, and then ask your question in the body of the email. I will answer these questions next week on our episode scheduled regular time at 8 p.m. Pacific Coast time. And yeah, hopefully you guys like it. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. It's been RICKY, the Android Guy.